The recipients of the 2024 Key to the City, delivered by Mayor Daniel Mahoney at the State of the City event earlier this spring. President Emeritus of Henry Ford Allegiance Health, Georgia Fojtasek. Hi, Georgia.
Hi, Bart. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you brought your key.
I did.
Yes. Can we
Right.
hold it up? So earlier this month, Greg O'Connor, the other recipient of
Yep.
the Key to the City, was here, and I asked him, and I'll ask you too, did you also get a shovel to the city?
I do not
No.
have a shovel.
Okay. Well, someone pointed out to me that this really isn't the shovel to the city. It's a Lofts on Louis groundbreaking shovel. So you still have me beat with your key to the city.
You're younger. Your time.
I've got some time. Yeah, there's a point you really don't want the Lifetime Achievement Award, right?
You don't.
No. Well, really, you're very busy. I know you've been so active all during your years at the hospital, but you've been pretty busy since your retirement.
I haven't. It's full life. I love it.
Well, what's interesting, your remarks that you prepared for the Key to the City event, you talked about how you came here to Jackson, and I've heard this story a few times. You got this job in Jackson, a Texas girl. You didn't plan on being here for long.
No. It was a big move for us from Texas, and we'd always wanted to live in the north. And so the position opened, and we found the home we loved, and we said, because Travis was going back to school, this would be a 5-year plan. And then we would figure out if the north was for us, and being, so far away from family and friends. And then we fell in love. The
And
community.
not only that, you retired and you could have gone back to Texas or Florida or anywhere else, but you wanted to stay here.
We wanted to stay here, and actually, Bart, after being in the north, we wouldn't live anywhere else. It's the seasons, and it's the seasons, and then having so many trees and flora and fauna, deer eating my hostas.
I see you out on the Falling Waters Trail a lot.
Right.
I know you take full advantage of that.
Totally.
Some of the things that this community has created and grown and offered in the years since you moved here, that's part of what you like about Jackson.
And it's part of actually what has contributed so much to the quality of life for us, because where we came from, that was virtually non-existent. When we wanted picnics of any size, family outings, usually we drive hour and a half somewhere to the mountains, and the trails and the lack of trees, so it's really hard to walk other than very early in the morning or late at night. And so we have found this still enchanting, an enchanting environment. And when I think of 1989 and what was going on here and what Jackson looked like, especially downtown, so many things were closing, and where we are now with bright walls and the plantings have just been refreshed for spring. This is phenomenal.
Yeah, tumbleweeds downtown in 1989, literally.
It was very vacant.
Your leadership at the hospital, I think, has been stimulus for some of the changes. I know you've encouraged your team to be part of the community. I think you even had an edict that you had to live here.
I did.
And you've also financially, personally, and as a health system, sponsored many things that have contributed to our lifestyle.
Paul Tejada, when I got here, was really clear what my boundaries were for Barb Knuppel to show us homes. I mean, she had the script. Mm-hmm. And it occurred to me then, after I became CEO, that was the way we were going to build the community. How could we recruit physicians unless we were all living here and actively involved which Consumers has been the role model for the community. And it was even things, I was so blessed with a team when 1 Jackson Square was going to be emptied. We were going to build an office building somewhere, and our CFO said, I think we should buy Jackson Square. And you know, my first thought was, I can't imagine taking this to the board. But the discussion was, we don't want another vacant building and for us to be building a building somewhere. And you know, it enabled us to eventually remove the hotel and to keep that building functional. And that's, I think that if you drive around, those kinds of things are really transformational. You don't think about them, but at the time, it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, because it was going to be essentially abandoned if someone didn't buy it. But and then you put like 10 million into it to
Yeah, it was a fixer-upper, especially the parking.
yeah. Now at the event at the State of the City, when Mayor Mahoney presented the key to you and to Greg O'Connor, I know that you had prepared some remarks that you didn't have a chance to deliver all of them, but I was interested in what you were planning to say about how our community, because Key to the City is a city, but you're looking at the bigger picture, what you see as our community and cooperation.
Well, what I was going, and I think I did share that I was actually working with then Mayor Dennis Archer. I had just read a sociologist's comment on Detroit, and his comment that really stuck with me was, you can't be a suburb of nowhere, which is sort of a cool way to put it. Mm-hmm. And his point was that if in the Tri-County area, they leave Detroit and Wayne County behind, then that area is never going to develop, that you have to have the infrastructure, the airport, and those types of things that happen in the core city. And that's true here. It's the exact same thing we were just talking about with the tumbleweeds, where downtown Jackson didn't have a face. And I know we had these executives that we were requiring to live here, and physicians who would come unbeknownst to us to tour, bring their families. And there were a number of times I would hear, you know, this isn't a place we can raise our kids. And so being committed to helping build the city in ways that the hospital could was really important. And understanding that this hub that is the city, and then intergovernmental cooperation, it's really helpful to me to read about things like sharing fire services, because I know what that means in terms of, you know, response time for anybody who may need those. There's lots of places that stuff doesn't happen. And so the more there's this intergovernmental cooperation, that's going to make our tax dollars go further and allow us to have more services.
You've been a supporter of the arts all during your career and since your retirement. You've got a project right now that you're working on. What's the status of the bridge sculpture?
Mechanic Street Bridge. So we have a wee bit of engineering to do because there was concern about the wind sway. There's always, what seemed like easy turned out to be a little more complex. But we're working our way through that, and so our goal is this summer. So that's still going to happen. We're not going to let that go. But the arts, if you think about Bright Walls, bringing people together, the outdoor sculpture, the sculptures that the Lavery Family Foundation have placed along the trail, Those are things that bring a vitality to the community. It's something for people to talk about, something that really has brought folks downtown.
Well, we're grateful that you stay so involved in the community and for all the years of service of both you and Travis, your family, and your hospital and health system. And I think well-deserved the key to the city.
Thank you, Bart. We're really glad to be here.
Great to see you. We're very glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Key to the city recipient by the mayor at the 2024 State of the City, Georgia Fojtasek. Stay tuned.